Who do you think throws for more yards? Steve Angeli or Joey Aguilar?
I think regardless of the result, I'm pretty confidently rocking with Angeli. Just in terms of the approach and the game plan, it feels like he's going to get more opportunities and have more yards.
I think especially if Syracuse falls behind in this game, you are totally right. I'm very curious, though, what Tennessee is going to do. You would think they're going to come out running, which is my best guess, probably your best guess as well. And Syracuse, you think their counter is they're going to load the box. They're going to do everything in their power to shut down that run game. So now, what's Joey Aguilar going to do with one-on-one coverage across the field? What are those wide receivers of Tennessee going to do with one-on-one coverage? Because that's pretty much what it's going to be the entirety of the game. I can't see Syracuse stopping the run game with 5-6 guys in the box. It's just they're going to have to put 7 in there and just wrap up when you have a chance to make a play. I am also going to go with Steve Angeli, but I do think there is an outside chance with Joey Aguilar because if he can slice and dice that single coverage all game long, look out if you are Syracuse. Who do you think wins the turnover battle? Syracuse or Tennessee?
I'm going to say that Tennessee wins the turnover battle, but I will say, well, that's all I'll say. I think Tennessee wins the turnover battle.
Interesting. I don't think Syracuse has to win the turnover battle to win. I don't think this is one of those scenarios where you got Cal going into Auburn and they need Auburn to turn the ball over 5 times in order for them to win by 7. I don't think that necessarily needs to happen for Syracuse, and I've been saying it throughout the entire week. When you get a chance to make that play, you got to make that play. And not only do you have to make that play, you got to house it. We're talking about scoop and score, pick 6. Tyler, you're familiar with this play, and I've said it throughout the week. Devin Grant against Miami at the end of the year. That fumble 6, when he stripped Xavier Restrepo after that first down, completely changed the game for Syracuse. They are 13.5-point underdogs. You get a pick 6. You get a scoop and score. That 13.5-point advantage, completely nullified. It's gone. That is a 14-point swing right there if you're Syracuse. So it's not necessarily about winning the turnover battle, even though I do think it'll be Tennessee that wins it. It's about making the big play when it's there for Syracuse, assuming, of course, it is there. Let's play a little bit of a game of fill in the blank. And before we do so, once again, we are joined by Tyler Budge. He goes by CF Budge. You can find him on YouTube and all social platforms. Independent college football expert. I'm sure he's going to be watching this Syracuse-Tennessee game at noon Eastern, as well as all the other games that are taking place throughout Saturday and over the course of the week. This is the other big one on Saturday, of course, Ohio State and Texas. Not naive to that as a Syracuse fan, even though this is a Syracuse channel. That's a big game. Let's fill in the blank, though. Let's say Syracuse maybe pulls off an upset, okay? Fill in the blank. Syracuse upsets Tennessee if?
Syracuse upsets Tennessee if Angeli throws for over 300 yards.
Okay. I'm going to say they slow down Tennessee's running game and hopefully hold their running backs to under 4 yards a carry. If they can hold down the running backs to under 4 yards a carry, I think it gives them their best chance to win. Don't say the opposite now. Tennessee takes care of Syracuse. They handle their business if?
Tennessee handles their business if, I'll be lazy and I'll say if they win the turnover battle.
That's fair. That's fair. I think Tennessee is a lock to win this game if Joey Aguilar doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Whenever he's called upon, he makes the big play for Tennessee. You know, at times they are probably going to have to throw the football. Naturally, it's just football. You might be 2nd and 3, but all of a sudden you get a holding call. Now it's 2nd and 13. Then all of a sudden it becomes 3rd and 8. They're going to call upon Joey Aguilar at some point. New quarterback for Tennessee. If he takes care of the football, he finds his open receivers against this inexperienced Syracuse secondary, I don't think Syracuse has a chance. It's already going to be hard enough to contain the running game of Tennessee. If they can't stop the pass of Tennessee, I don't know what we're doing here. I got to be honest. If Joey Aguilar is going to sit here and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, you just tip your cap and you say Tennessee is so much better than Syracuse, and they really have no chance. So Tennessee, they take care of Syracuse if they establish that passing game when called upon with Joey Aguilar. All right, Tyler, I'm putting you on the spot here. Prediction time. Syracuse or Tennessee, and what's your score prediction?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a score prediction off the top of my head, but I'll come up with one. But what I will say is I am not super high on this Tennessee team to begin with. I know some people still have them ranked. I know some people still believe they can be a playoff contender. Like Tennessee fans are picturing like, oh, it's time for the next progression. We just made the playoff next year. Let's win a playoff game this year. But I'm really not super high. I don't love what happened to them in the spring with the Nico situation. I don't love having to turn to a quarterback in the spring portal window that you didn't otherwise think was going to come in here. And it kind of felt like he was really their only option. It wasn't like a Syracuse situation where they had already named a starter and they were like, hey, this is just an extra guy to increase the competition. It was like, you brought him in and now this is your guy. And I just feel like their defense got worse this offseason. I feel like they're going to have worse quarterback play this season. And I just think it's going to be a worse Tennessee team. With that being said, I feel like a lot of those same things can be said about Syracuse too. And so it is just unfortunate they're in this position. Both teams, I think, are very well coached. But I would almost say that I have more faith that the Syracuse coaching staff will get more out of their roster as it appears, which is a hot take because Heupel's done an incredible job. Tim Banks is one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, but also it was an extremely impressive effort by Syracuse last year. I am very confident Syracuse covers the spread in this one. I am, however, just going to lean Tennessee for my pick. If I had to pick a score prediction, I would say we're getting like a 34-30 Tennessee victory.
Man, you got me all excited. I really thought that you were going to be the first independent person that I have seen go live. We're not live, by the way, but go on camera for everyone to see and actually pick Syracuse to win as an independent. It's one thing if I were to sit here and pick Syracuse to win. I'm the Locked On Syracuse host. I'm not actually picking Syracuse to win, but let's say I did. Hey, I'm the Syracuse host. What do you want me to do, right? You got my hopes up, Tyler, but close loss for Syracuse. I'm not going to sit here and say I'll sign for it. What I will sign for with Syracuse, I'll take a one-score game in the fourth quarter because anything can happen if it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter. I'll sit back and say, you know what? Take it from here. Syracuse, one-score game in the fourth quarter, and just hope they can make that extra play to knock off Tennessee. By the way, Tennessee, Tyler mentioned some have them ranked, some don't. The AP poll, which is pretty important, it does have them ranked at 24th in the country. Hopefully, if Syracuse wins, they would also be a ranked team in the country. We'll see, and we'll worry about that if and when Syracuse actually pulls off this upset.